What's up, YouTube? Got a boring kind of highway rant video for y'all today. So, starting to warm up out here. It's probably 65, 70 degrees here in St. Louis. Oh, curb. Ugh. Big old bitch. I'll just go around like that. Anyway, so my rant today, was about this dealership, one of the local dealerships. I'm not going to call it anything but the big box store. So, my buddy bought a Triumph from this big box store, which is your generic, kind of Japanese and Harley Davidson dealer. They don't do a whole lot of European stuff. But he bought this Triumph that looked like it had kind of been rud hard, put away wet, sort of thing. And so, it looked a little rough, but it was 40,000 miles on a Triumph and a 955i street triple. And I had a 955i Sprint that I sold at 45,000 miles, and it ran great. I mean, absolutely no complaints with that thing. It just needed a handful of maintenance, and I didn't feel like doing it. I wanted a real super sport, so I told him, 40,000 miles on that thing isn't anything. But, and he went and checked it out, unfortunately with nobody. It was just him, and he's got some mechanical knowledge, but he's by no means a mechanic. So he went and checked it out, and he got a pretty good deal on the bike, and bought it, rode it over. Rode it over to my house, was riding around a little bit, waiting for me to get off work. And it was riding pretty good. He only started it a handful of times. He said it started a bunch at the dealership. Oh, when it was at the dealership, those Triumphs have a park setting for the key that you can take the key out of. It leaves the tail light on and the turn signal's illuminated. And you could turn on the hazards. So apparently they had left that on while they were doing paperwork, and so the battery was dead. So then it took them 4 hours to put a battery in this bike and then charge it up all the way and everything like that. So it's a short motorcycle car deal turned into 4 hours wasting his whole day at the dealership. Luckily he didn't have to work. So he bought this bike, was riding around a little bit, and, we meet up at the grocery store by my house that's closed down, because he was riding around the parking lot. It's been like 2 years since he's ridden a motorcycle, so he was just getting used to the low speed stuff again. And so I pull up on the S1000, I go to check out the new bike, go to start it, and it won't start. Starter sounds like shit. It's got like no juice. The battery's still super weak. So whatever, won't start. We tried fiddling with it, pop starting it for 20 minutes before I just said, fuck it, let's push it down the sidewalk, let's walk it home. About a mile, mostly downhill. So we start heading that way, and we make it 150 yards. And before going down this big hill, I was like, well, let's try to start it real quick, see if it'll start. Finally got it to fired up, and it was running pretty good. I mean, you pre-revved it, sounded okay, and everything else. We get it to the house, check engine light was on, I plug it into my scanner, I scan the codes, and had a couple of stored codes like MAF sensor, low fuel pressure, or low fuel level, and fuel pump failure. Cleared those codes out because from what I was looking at on the internet, those codes can pop up randomly if the battery dies, and they clear out over time. But anyway, so we got it going, and then did some test starts at the house, and it started up fine, not a big deal. So he lives 15-20 miles away, so me and my girlfriend, we hop on the S1000 and we ride out towards his house. He's riding behind me. We get there, see you later, we're gonna ride in the morning, see you at 10 a.m. kind of thing. Well, girlfriend comes over, by the time we start getting everything together to, what is this guy doing? By the time we start getting everything together to, okay, to go riding, you know, I call him, we're sitting up at the park with somebody else that we were meeting up with to go riding, or I'm waiting to, you know, where they at? We were all meeting up there. He calls me, oh, the bike won't start. What do you mean? Well, I rode up to Walmart and the bike won't start now. Okay, so we go up to Walmart, and he knew some people who worked at the Walmart, so we were back, had the battery charger on the battery on the charger, and charged it up to 100%, threw it back in the bike still wouldn't start. Tried pop starting it again, tried checking some connections and stuff like that, whatever. So, you know, this is a cheap, you know, like $2,000 bike, something like that. I don't exactly remember how much he paid, but I know it was cheap. And, you know, the bike is in okay condition. I mean, mechanically, a Triumph with 45,000 miles should not be a big deal. So, anyway, he after fucking with it, we just like, alright, we called the dealership. He's like, hey, I just bought this bike yesterday, and the damn thing wouldn't start yesterday. Finally got to start, rode it home, and it won't start again today. And, you know, they were cool enough that, yeah, just bring it in, we'll take a look at it. But the thing is we don't have a truck to send it out to tow it, because we got a boat show coming up. Not a problem. I got a truck and trailer I can get. So we get the bike up there after a whole long, I mean, the whole day was just kind of a fiasco. Didn't get any riding done, not a big deal. You know, helping out my friends is always more important than getting out and riding. That's where I'm on my way back from today. It's fucking beautiful today. And, you know, I should have been riding all day. My buddy needed help putting the lift kit on his Tundra, so that's what we did instead. So we get the bike there, and this was 1 month ago. It takes them 1 week to diagnose saying the starter was bad. I could have told you that. That's what we had figured. It sounded like shit. You know, it sounded like two knives clinging together in there. So the starter was bad. It took them 14 days to get a starter. They had to order it from Triumph, and I guess the guys in fucking England had to build the damn thing. 14 days to get a starter for $9.55. They put that motor in everything. Alright, so they get that on. It takes a week for them to put it on, and then they say, oh well, we need to get this gasket. We're gonna, you know, do expedited shipping, which is usually 2 to 3 day shipping, and you know, and then we're going to put it all together and we'll give you a call. Well, that was 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, and still haven't heard anything. So now it is the day before Easter. The fucking temp tag on the bike has expired. He's going to get hit with a $25 fee for licensing it. And they still don't talk to him. I mean, how long does it take to replace a starter on a bike? I've been a mechanic for a long time. I luckily have not had to replace a starter on a bike, but I mean, I replaced the starter on a fucking Ferrari, and that doesn't take more than a day. So, what's the deal? Anyway, I can't dog on him too much, because luckily, like I said, it was a cheap as-is sold vehicle, and you know, they said they're taking care of it. So he has that. I mean, you know, they held their word on the sales end, but you know, I'd heard a lot of bad things about this place in the past, and you know, I was just like, well, he's had good luck with them. He's bought 2 bikes from them before, so they've been good to him. I don't know. I just don't know what to think of this situation. Guys, post it down in the comments if you've had any sort of situation like this with any of your local dealers. Sorry about the boring video. Like I said, you know, I spent most of my day at my buddy's house. You guys have trouble getting parts for Triumphs like that? It's kind of new to me. I don't know. My BMW is easy, man. Every time I've ever needed anything, the dealership had it in stock or was going to have it the next day. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Sorry about the wind noise.